Hello, we are here for an Ultimate Masters Draft with Cheshire Plays Games. We've got a Commander crew. Normally, they're a four-man Commander pod that loves playing on Twitch, and we are here live streaming their draft instead. It's a little bit of a Christmas special for Ultimate Masters here. My name is Max Kersia, and we're very, very excited here at General Games to be bringing you this content. Here's the first pop-in of the box here. We have 8 players. It's a very, very exciting draft. We've got some big bombs in this set. There's a lot of interactions in this set for drafting, which is absolutely wonderful. You know, things like Bitter Blossom, which has needed a reprint for such a long time. Absolute bomb in draft. We've got plenty of graveyard interactions in this set as well. Dredge, Madness. There is so many cool things to have. Through the Breach, Goryo's Vengeance, Emrakul. You know, they've really tried to synergize really hard with what's in this set, which is absolutely gorgeous. It is unfortunately going to be one of the last Masters sets for a while, according to Wizards, so they've really tried to blow it out of the ballpark with us for this one. The box toppers in this are absolutely wonderful. We've opened up quite a few boxes in the store and with some of our customers and the community, and they're just gorgeous. From Leovolds to the Eternal Witness, oh, I love that art with an absolute passion. So really exciting stuff happening today. As we can see, there's Cheshire himself rubbing his hands together with glee. Cannot wait to start opening these packs. So we're going to get in as soon as possible. Pack 1, pick 1. We'll see what we're going to go for here. Winner here has a box topper waiting for them. Very excited about that too, because this is going to be absolute crazy box toppers. The value in that is incredible. And something they haven't really done much in Wizards. So here we are for the first pack opening. What have we got? What's the bomb? We're slow rolling it here. Foil. Which one's that? Can't quite see that. We're reading it real close right now. Bridge from Below. Interesting. Not one of the best first picks to have, considering. But the Slippery Bogle. Oh, that is a sweet pick right there. Absolutely loving that. Not being able to be removed. We're going back to a Pauper All-Star with the Slippery Bogle. The 1/1 hexproof for 1 can be played on both colors. There's a few decks within Magic that just Voltron up the Slippery Bogle, pump as many enchantments onto it, and I think as a first pick, that's very correct. Is that a Containment Priest I see on the other side as well? Sorry, having a few technical issues there. Camera's not sure what it's wanting to do, but we'll fix it up in just a moment. So that's always exciting stuff. I think the Containment Priest on the other was the second pick. It also managed to go through as a rare. That's 2 rares that haven't been first picked, so you can really see that people are trying to win the draft, not just pick value here, because there is some very powerful uncommons in this set. Very excited about that. I think the Slippery Bogle here is, if you can play that turn 1 with hexproof, there's not a lot of core removal that you can get for it. So going for the second pick, probably green-blue is where he's going to be looking at, but he's got a lot of options here, Cheshire, to go from Slippery Bogle, which is great. Having both the hybrid symbol of green and blue means you've just got so many options. There's Malevolent Visions floating around through there. He's really spoiled for choice on this second pick of what he can do. The Sanitarium Skeleton, also very good. Just the recursion that can come from Sanitarium Skeleton, you know, whether it's in the bin or back in, it's just constantly there. It's a constant threat. It's a constant blocker, so it can stop these big bombs floating through. So very excited to see what kind of big hits that we've got here. Taken a very long time to decide. But we'll see. We've got some really cool stuff here. Look at that. That's what he's going for. Yeah, understandable. Sticking to his blue-green hybrids. You know, if you don't have to make that decision of really spruiking into one color, then pop it onto the producer to see. What have we got next? The Shielding Plaques. Look, when you have a cantrip that can Voltron up your Slippery Bogle, you cannot complain about that. The Platinum Imperium actually wasn't picked first or second. That is incredible. You can really see what people are trying to do here. They're really going for the win. And Platinum Imperium, though an incredibly cool card, maybe not so powerful in the drafting format. So understandable not necessarily having that pick go through first or second. It'll get picked up soon enough because in the late game, it's still an absolute beast when it comes to flying. It still hits and domes opponents very well. So I don't expect that to last too long in the draft. But I definitely agree, not a first or second pick. So more enchantments here. Enchant creature gets +1/+1 and return it as well. I think having the Slippery Bogle as first pick, as I said, it's such a Voltron card. And with the amount of enchantments we have, the Umbras floating around in this set as well, Hyena Umbra, Bear Umbra, there's so many options to just pack onto the Bogle, I think, is a very, very strong choice from Cheshire. Having that first pick, if you can get a second Bogle coming up, will be absolutely incredible. So, well, hopefully, I can't imagine the Bogle lasting too much within the draft. It's definitely a tier 1 or tier 2 pick. As we see more rares floating through. That's the Flagstone of Tarkir, and that of Trocare, sorry, and that is also not getting first pick. So even though these rares that are absolute bombs in a non-limited format, is just not that good in draft. You can see Pulse of Marassa is almost higher up there on the picks. Because you get to ramp through it. Even though Flagstones of Trocare is a wonderful card, there's no guaranteed way to get into your bin just yet. Pulse of Marassa, however, return target creature or land from a graveyard to its owner's hand, gain 6 life. Boggles is very hard to kill, and if you kill it, it's with 1 or 2 cards in your deck that can actually kill the Bogle. Some kind of sweeper before it gets Voltroned, or maybe an Edict if you've got a sacrifice effect. And to somehow get that back from your graveyard and then on the field whilst gaining 6 life, it's impossible to get rid of that card. So I think Cheshire is very close to picking that as a huge threat of that Bogles. We've also had a Desolate Lighthouse come through, is what I can see on this side. Loot in, draw a card, discard a card, always very powerful. Getting through your deck, getting through your choices to find those Bogles, to find those enchantment cards to upgrade, always very, very powerful. The best thing you can do is sift through most of your deck, and you want the good cards. You need your removal, and Desolate Lighthouse just helps so much. As we can see, the Trocare is still floating through this draft. I don't think that's going to get picked for a very long time. There's the Hyena Umbra. That's very, very tempting for Cheshire, I think. Nope, he's going for the Mammoth Umbra. Yeah, +3/+3 and Vigilance. He's really going all in on this Bogles, and I absolutely love it. Also with the Totem Armor is such an incredible thing in this set. To have your creature die and to remove the enchantment instead, like, just think of how hard it actually is to kill the Bogles. And I don't think it's ever going to die now. He's got so much protection for it. The foil has gone through. Foil! Oh, there's the meme of the set. Absolutely wonderful. He's going to take the Wild Mongrel, though. Discard a card, he gets +1/+1. As much as you love having Bogles and Voltron up the Bogles, you've got to spread out your thought process as well. Yep. Becoming the color of your choice. He can also, make a Voltron up the Wild Mongrel, discard cards to make it huge, and having the Umbras in there to protect it as well. Mammoth Umbra, absolutely. The Totem Armor, protecting these cards, it's very good. You want to get cheap, low creatures on, buff them up as much as possible, and keep going. Is that a Fulminator Mage, I believe? Fulminator Mage, also a very, very good card in this set. All-Star for Modern, All-Star in Jund. And it's a 2/2 that can block, but also just destroy a land as a worst case. If you do see Ancient Tombs pop up in this set, great way to just cut off some mana source from your opponent. And it's just a 2/2 blocker. It's always great. If they've got something big, chump block it, kill their land, you're still 1-for-1-ing. And if they have things like that Desolate Lighthouse that we saw before, taking off their ability to loot, always very, very strong. But not on color. Instead, we're going to go for the Fecundity. Whenever a creature dies, you draw a card. So it's very, very solid plan. It is a symmetrical effect, which is important to note. But symmetrical effect in Magic doesn't always mean fair Magic. So let's keep that in mind. It just means that if that Slippery Bogle does unfortunately hit the hay, it can replace itself with another card from the deck. Hopefully one of those other, smaller creatures that we can start Voltroning up. So always good to have a backup plan if anything does go astray early. We've also got gorgeous Fire and Ice. I know that is a bit of a favorite of one of the players in this set. Who knows if it's going to get picked or not? I don't think right now, but always a great card. Having those options instead. Basking Root Wall. Yep, absolutely agree. Brilliant. We've got all the armors now. We just want to get those low-level creatures helping out. So we've got a very special treat. The winner of this is going to get to open up the box topper, and we're going to be able to check that out at some point. The box toppers in this is something I was saying before, very unique for what Wizards have done. The only really time we've heard of this before is with the Mythic set, where you got those gorgeous Planeswalkers from the Hasbro website, but unfortunate in Australia not being able to get access to that due to the embargo. But these box toppers are absolutely wonderful. We had a box opening on the General Games YouTube channel previously, and we opened up a Khan, and it was just gorgeous. Angelic Renewal here. Yep, very, very good choice. Whenever a creature is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you may sacrifice it instead if you do return that card. Again, just more protection for the Bogles. We know what's been happening here. He wants the Bogles, he wants his 2/2s, he wants to make them big, he wants to protect them. I think Cheshire's gone down a very strong aggro and mid-range plan that we've got here. But yeah, the box toppers, absolutely gorgeous art. I was blown away by it. I've picked up my own Eternal Witness. Thankfully, we picked that up recently, and it is just beautiful. Wizards have truly gone over the top with the artwork on these cards, with the quality of the foiling as well. It's just stuff that we rarely get to see. Yep, Ancestor's Choice, First Strike. Again, these cheap creatures, well, I mean, not so cheap, but whenever it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life each card in your graveyard. You know, these first strikers, Vigilance, we can see definitely that we're going to want to be bashing face a lot. Cheshire, that's his goal. He wants to play creatures, he wants to buff them up, and he wants to punch people in the face. I very much agree with that strategy. Big fan of it. It is a 7-mana card, though, so who knows if you will be able to get to cast it. But sometimes that's the card that you need in a pinch. Gain a life. Vessel of Endless Rest. Another very good pick there. At this point, we're kind of running towards the end of the draft, and you're just picking up whatever you can at this point. It is a ramp, you know, add 1 mana of any color. We saw already that he's got several white sources that he requires, as well as green and blue. Yep, there's the Pulse of Marassa. Like I said, I'm impressed that lasted so long, getting to be able to return the Bogles. I think Cheshire's very, very happy about that. So he hasn't picked up any graveyard interactions just yet, but we still have attack 2 and 3. If he does manage to get any dredge effects, or discarding effects, or further discarding effects, we've already got the 1 discard on the Mongrel, then all of a sudden, when an ETB that gains him life for his graveyard is very, very powerful. Some games do get into a race. If he can manage to find a way to make his Boggles unblockable, will be absolutely incredible. There is Rogue's Passageway in this set, I believe, to make target creature unblockable. If Cheshire can somehow manage to get that into his deck, I think he's going to be very, very happy. And to race someone and suddenly just gain 7-8 life out of nowhere. The Pulse of Morass is already gaining him 6 life. That can really, really be a nail in a coffin. So a few more choices here that have gone through. That's another one of the salvage lands. I know there's a set of lands in this. The Dakmor Salvage combines into that. This is the Mistval Plains. Put target card from a graveyard at the bottom of a library. I think that's a very, very wonderful addition into this set. Definitely cards that need reprints. Very, very cool. Very, very cool for this as well. So again, down to like kind of the last few picks of pack 1. The Cat Cleric Heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets this, you get X effect. Heroic's really, really cool mechanic. Came back in Theros. And now we're bringing it back in the UM. So the themes in this set are very, very well done, I think. You've got your graveyard themes, your creature themes, you've got your enchantment themes, you've got your mini Sun Titan themes in the Heroic. I think tap up to 2 target creatures, draw a card. I think Cheshire, this pack 1, has done wonders for him. His game plan is definitely solidified. Arena Athlete, more Heroic. His game plan solidified. He has an array of ways to get creatures from the graveyard back into play, gain some life, defend these creatures. I think he's definitely on a very, very strong game plan right now. It's important to note we did not see much dredge actually come to Cheshire. We didn't see many in the packs that he saw either, but it must have been scooped up somewhere before him. So expect to see a bit more dredge in these cards maybe coming towards him. But he's not going to be picking it, so the players next to him are going to be very, very happy about it. Yeah, I agree. Slippery Bogle, Wild Mongrel, and the Root Wallabask. It's great creature picks for him. He maybe is a little light on the creatures. He might want just a few more. Draft, you definitely want a few creatures to have in play here. The Madness 0 on the Basking Root Waller is very, very important to note with the Mongrel. Very, very cool. What's the foil that we've got here? We have Moan of the Unhallowed. Gorgeous, gorgeous foil. And the land, is that a Thespian stage as well? Nothing too crazy, unfortunately. Moan of the Unhallowed is fine. Not in colors, though. Thespian stage, also, unfortunately, just not what you want at the moment. Though not a bad card at all. We all know Thespian Stage's big counterpart is the 2020 Dark Depths that comes with it. Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, Baskin Root Waller, correct decision. I know it's a common, but I believe it is the correct decision from that pack. So the Dark Depths Thespian Stage combo is not in this set, which is very, very sad. Oh, I believe actually it is in this set. They have the token and all. So it could be worth picking it up from someone if they get to see that card, but that's a very, very risky play. And just the Thespian Stage by itself is a colorless mana source. Great, unfortunately not the best. The Baskin Root Waller is very cool. The Mongrel does discard to make itself bigger. So discarding a Baskin Root Waller to cast for 0, that is the value. That is as big a value train as you can possibly get. Absolutely wonderful. So liking this game plan, as I said, needed a few more creatures, Cheshire did, and he's definitely picking them up. So very well done by him. He's getting a little bit of a luck, but he's smart enough to know that the common was actually the best in that pack. Considering what he's done previously. It's important to note for drafters out there who haven't drafted much or maybe learning, there's always drafting for value, which is it's not a winning condition that you have, unfortunately. So this is definitely a drafting for the win con, is what's happening here. And sometimes the common, shaking his head, Cheshire, I agree. Sometimes the common is the best thing to pick, and sometimes you look at the entire pack and you don't want any of those cards. They are not following Cheshire's game plan at all, so this is very unfortunate for him right now. It's a tough decision of what he wants to potentially split into. The Sanitarium Skeleton feels arguably the best, but it's off color for him, though the recursion is something that kind of he's working on as well. Being able to discard that and recur it is fine. Yeah. So flying, heroic, whenever you cast a spell that targets it, put a +1/+1 counter, I believe, or +1/+1 till end of turn on the rest of your creatures. Very, very strong still. Not quite on the game plan he's going for. He's not targeting his creatures too much without enchantments. Yeah, on Wingsteed Rider. It's a flyer. Evasion's always very important. Let's keep this in mind for drafters out there as well. At the start of my drafting career, I played blue-white flyers, because if you have blue, white, and flyers, you can protect them, you can draw cards, and you're evasive. It's very, very powerful and very hard to deal with without proper sideboarding techniques. So always remember, there's very easy ways you can draft to try and guarantee yourself some fun. Aether Snipe coming into it. Yep, the Evoke cost of Aether Snipe. Evoke is in this set as well, which is always really, really cool. Evoke is an alternative casting cost. It does sacrifice the creature as soon as it comes into play, but you get an awesome enter the battlefield trigger. Aether Snipe, a bit of a hero when it comes to drafts. He's in quite a lot of drafting formats because it is just a very, very good card to have in draft. What else have we got in this pack, though? There's just not a lot of green coming, which makes me think that Darren on the other side is taking a lot of the green. Eel Umbra, cannot complain. Flash as well. Just having that ability to flash in your enchantment to sacrifice it. That card might as well read 1 and a blue, flash, sacrifice this to protect target Slippery Bogle. And I think it's very, very correct. There's definitely the blue already in the deck, and this is just helping to emphasize that fact. As I was saying, though, Darren is on the green path. I have to believe he's on the green path. We are not seeing any green come into Al other than the first pack. And I think Al knows this. It's making him very sad. He has none of those smaller creatures that he was looking for other than the first pack. Sovereigns of Lost Alara is the rare still in this pack. So keep in mind, we have now passed these packs on 3, 4, 5 times, and there's still the rare in it. So it just shows that when drafting this set, the rares aren't necessarily the bombs. A Mythic came through earlier in the Platinum Empyrean. He is going for it. The Sovereigns of Alara, it is on color. It is white and blue. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, you may search for your library for an aura card that would enchant that creature, put it onto the battlefield, attach to that creature, then shuffle your library. Look, this is very, very important. This is definitely on the game plan of Al. He's not sad to see that at all. And it also has Exalted. This is very, very important to know. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So if he's trying to potentially get that Rogue's Passageway, if it manages to come through, unless the first or second pick, it's probably not. But if he can get that Slippery Bogle's attacking away, he's definitely very, very happy about that with the Exalted trigger. Nothing too crazy in this. Again, the rare coming through, Disrupting Shoal. Exile a blue card with converted mana cost X from your hand rather than pay this spell's mana cost, and counter target spell's converted mana cost is X. Very, very specific type of card. I don't think it's what Al is looking for. Instead, discard a card, create 2 1/1 white citizen creature tokens. He's got more dudes now. Very, very good. We already saw the madness from the Baskin Root Waller at 0. I think he's definitely on that plan as well. Hopefully he can get a few more madness cards into it. He's not going to be feeling too bad about discarding all these cards. What's important to note is when you have discard a card, a lot of times it reads discard a land, which is really, really good. If you have too many lands in hand, you just turn it into 1/1 tokens. That feels great. Rune Snag here. Counter target spell unless the controller pays 2, plus an additional 2 for each card named Rune Snag in each graveyard. That's very important because if your opponent's playing Rune Snag and you are as well, it's a symmetrical effect. It does affect both graveyards. Which again, really, really cool mechanics coming out from Wizards here. Symmetrical effects aren't always fair, keep that in mind, but they try to make it as fair as possible. Stick into the blue plan. This is a tough decision for Al. These black and red cards are coming through, and he's tossing up. You think he's going for it. What have we got here? Casca, Abomination. Hybrid symbol, green, green. Black, black again. Ignore the black, but Canker Abomination. As it enters the battlefield, choose an opponent. Canker Abomination enters the battlefield with -1/-1 counter on it for each creature that player controls. So at times, that can be a 4-mana 6/6. That is well and truly above curve. That is a great card to be having. Keep in mind, once it enters the battlefield, that's it for the -1/-1 counters. It does not get that afterwards. So huge, huge pick here. I think that's great for Al. Not the worst feeling. The double green maybe hurts him a little bit. But he's still into the green path. The double green, double black, I should say, the hybrid, but it's not getting paid back. Emancipation Angel, though, is the pick there. We'll hop up in a moment. But the hybrid green, black, he does not have black in his deck. That is definitely referenced as 2 green, green. Emancipation Angel, 1 white, white, flying. When it enters the battlefield, return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. Maybe it's a 3/3 flying. That's where he's at. Resurrection coming in there. He's not looking to really bounce too many permanents to his hand. Maybe some of the armors, if you can switch them away to other creatures, is a really, really cool effect you can use for that. But not looking to bounce too much, I don't believe. Resurrection, return target creature card from the graveyard to the battlefield. Look, perfect. That's what he wants. He wants to be returning those boggles that get killed, the Baskin root wallers that get killed. All of these creatures just bring him back onto the field. Resurrection is definitely a perfect card for him. And it's in colors, as we say. He's definitely white, blue, and green right now, playing down the Bant colors. Thalmos High Priest, we saw that one before, I believe. Yeah, whenever you cast a spell that targets him, return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from the graveyard. That means that you play this, put an enchantment on him, and get a Slippery Boggles back, or a Baskin Root Waller back. You know, Mime and Slime. I wouldn't mind seeing some way of getting some more things into the bin. You can keep in mind now all those high-costing creatures. I think you have the 7 mana before. If you can get that in the bin and turn it into a 4-mana Resurrection, feels great. That's a very, very cool effect. So just because there's high mana cost doesn't mean you're going to be casting that for that. There's a lot of graveyard interaction in this set, which is absolutely wonderful. Here we have Mime and Slime create an XX green ooze creature, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Again, that's absolutely brilliant considering that he's trying to Voltron up these Bogles. When a Bogle's a 5/5, 6/6, and you're turning it into an ooze for 6/6 feels great. Now we're very quickly going through these, very simple decisions. A Fume Splitter, he's picking it because it was the best of the worst. Defy Gravity, however, target creature gains flying until end of turn with flashback. That is actually huge. He's not sad at all to see that as a second last pick. Defy Gravity. Having a Bogles come in and suddenly become a 6/6 or a 4/4 flying, when you think that you were nearly there and then you are not. Keep in mind, I said this a bit before, evasion is very important. It is such a huge thing in these sets. If you don't have a way to deal with flying, it's the same as a Baleful Strix. If I manage to cast a 1/1 flying Baleful Strix and it resolves and then you don't deal with it, 20 turns later, I just bashed you in the face for 1. And here we are. So, flying is very, very important in these sets, and being able to just turn that Bogles into a 1/1, into a 4/4, 5/5 flyer, whatever it is, that's a quarter of your life total down already. Temporal Manipulation. We are not sad about seeing that Mythic right now take an extra turn after this one for 5 mana. That is absolutely huge. If his opponent ever taps out and Temporal Manipulation is on field for 5 mana, that is huge. Being able to attack twice with a Slippery Bogles, that's a 6/6. He has to take it. He cannot take anything else. I know he's looking at those Umbras. He's very sad right now. He'd rather have those enchantments in his deck, but you just cannot say no to Temporal Manipulation for the sheer fact that if your opponent has it, well, guess what? They've got a Temporal Manipulation, and you just do not want that at all. Oh, he's tossing up so hard. He's got these Umbras, he's got the enchantments. This fits so well with the Slippery Bogles. Hyena Armor, Umbra having first strike as well. Nope, he's gone for the Hero Obvious. Aura spells you cost 1 less. Oh, that's such a tough decision for him. That is such a tough decision, having the foil there. Aura spells cost 1 less to cast. I think that is huge. That is absolutely huge. But Darren, suddenly, looking through and he's going to see the Temporal Manipulation. Looking at his face. Oh, That is absolutely huge. We have a Celestial Colonnade coming in as well. That's on color. Tap land for on color. There it is from Darren. The temporal manipulations there. You can see it. The Celestial Colonnade is absolutely huge as well. A 4/4 white flyer. Tap land is on color as well for Al, which is absolutely huge. Keep in mind that Sarah Angel wins games. I'm talking about this multiple times here. We have evasion. 4/4 vigilance evasion. Yeah, very correct, Al. I know he was hurt to put on that pass on the temporal manipulation, but to have the Celestial Colonnade back in his hand, I guess that's a bit of a consolation prize for him. I still... that would have been so tough, but to have Aura Spells cost 1 less, it means that Bogle can just kill. It can kill so hard. Having the cheaper enchantments means turn 1 Bogle, turn 2 you get to play the Hero of Eros, turn 3 you potentially have 2 or 3 enchantments and get to swing with 5/5 Bogles. So this game plan just turned a much more aggressive path for Al. Oh, man, that temporal manipulation, though, that hurts. That hurts to not have to grab. Revlock. Or Al, that's a great choice for you right now. Being able to, yep, there it is, return things from the graveyard again. We have so much cool graveyard recursion in this set, and Al is picking up a lot of it in white. I think this is a great pick for him. The Abomination is back, though. 4 mana, 6/6. Yeah, 4 mana, 6/6. Cannot complain about a 4 mana 6/6, I agree. But the Revlark is a great card to have. The evoke cost is huge, but being able to return creatures from graveyard again, you're coming back with the Bogles comes back, your Mongrel comes back. But you know what? A 4 mana 6/6 is in fact a 4 mana 6/6. Here we go with another rare. So that's Eldrazi Conscription in Al's hands right now. It's the old standard combo. Eldrazi Conscription, enchant creature. Enchanted creature has +10, has trample, and Annihilator 2. So this was actually played in standard Eldrazi Conscription because it is an incredible card. With all the sovereigns coming through here. And it's in a foil as well. That makes it even better. The Sovereigns of Lost Alara was the exalted 6 mana flyer that you get to search your library for an enchantment card and equip it. So keep in mind, you may search your library for an aura card that would enchant that creature, put it onto the battlefield, attach that creature, then shuffle your library. Al now has the Sovereigns of Lost Alara and Eldrazi Conscription. That is a 6 mana, 14/15 Annihilator 2 trample. For those not sure, well, it can put it on any creature, for that matter, whenever a creature you control attacks. But to have Sovereigns of Lost Alara come into play and equip it to a Bogles on the spot is absolutely incredible. Keep in mind, for those not at home, hey, Kitchen Finks, that's wonderful as well. For those playing the home game that don't know, Annihilator 2 means that when a creature attacks, they have to sacrifice 2 permanents. So it's annihilating your board slowly but surely. Unfortunately, the triggers will not stack, I believe, because the creature has already been declared as attacking, but you still get a 10/10 Trampler coming into play. So the Sovereigns and Eldrazi Conscription combo was definitely played in standard. The biggest fear that you have now is having the Conscription in hand with the Bant as well. So Kitchen Finks, Wingsteed Rider, we saw that one before, go into that in a moment. Kitchen Finks is huge as well. It's a 3/2, gains 2 life when it enters the battlefield. Great, but it also has Persist. Persist is very important because when it dies, it comes back with a -1/-1 counter, so that's a 2/1. But it gains you more life as well. So it's a 3 mana gain 4 and can chump block twice, or even attack. It is a 3/2, keep in mind. Ali is definitely on an aggressive path here as well, so I very much like this. We have another Wingsteed Rider where you cast a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Wingsteed Rider. Look, evasion, 2/2 flying, this is huge. You put at a, there's an Engineered Explosive. Put an enchantment on that, it becomes a 3/3, 4/4, even a 5/5 very, very quickly and starts beating face in the air. You put an Umbra token, Totem Armor enchantment on that, and it doesn't die. Again, smashing really well. Al's plan of the enchantments is coming through really, really well. It seems like neither of his neighbors are on the enchantment path, maybe because he took it early from them, and it seems to be coming through very, very well for him. Engineered Explosive card I'll go into in a moment. He's picking up Shed Weakness. We'll explain that. But Engineered Explosive is a really, really cool card. It is huge value in this set. Maybe not for drafting, but it is an all-star in so many formats. It's got Sunburst, which means that you pay different colors for it. It comes into play with that many X counters on it. And then you can sacrifice to destroy each non-land permanent with that same cost. Now, that is a very huge way of killing a Bogles if it comes into play with 1, minus the Totem Armor. So that's a very cool way in this set to actually deal with Bogles. But there's not a lot of other ways. So very cool card. I would have thought Al almost would have spite picked that just to stop his opponents having it, because it is a way to deal with the Bogles, and you want to have as little ways for your opponents to deal with Bogles as possible. Patchwork Gnomes, discard a card, regenerate it. That's really, really cool. Again, we're discarding cards into graveyards for things like Resurrection. We've got Madness coming through as well. So there's some really cool discard effects in this set for Al. It's actually going to work out really, really well if he can combo it off. What's he picking here? We have Flight of Fancy. Hey, wonderful. Enchant Creature. That's the key word for Al's deck. It's enchantcreature.deck. Gives it flying as well. And you draw 2 cards. This is absolutely huge. Being able to draw 2 cards and go through his deck. He's actually at card positive right now. That's huge. Eel Umbra coming through again. Totem Armor. Giving that creature flying. Drawing 2 cards. Having a Heroic effect or a Boggle effect is absolutely huge. This is Flash. Again, Eel Umbra. It is 1 and a blue. Protect target Boggle from dying. Which is absolutely huge. Again, I was referencing before how hard it is to kill a Boggle. And to have this come into play to remove that card from their hand. It's a 1-for-1 trade, yes, card-wise. But to keep that Boggle alive is absolutely perfect. You want to be doing that as much as possible. So Al is doing very, very well. I think building a deck for him is going to be nearly impossible with the options that he has. Again, Save or Delete with Persist. Persist is just good for chump blocking. It means that you can be both aggressive with your Boggles whilst just leaving something behind to block several times. So I think he's got his low-level creatures as well, which is going to be huge. And you know what? A 2-mana 2/2 is still on curve, even with the Persist. Putting some enchantments on that, if that's all he's got, he's not going to feel bad. Also means that he can chump block early on. Walker of the Grove, that's really cool. Go in that in a moment. Being able to chump block early on while he finds his pieces, while he finds that Bogles, while he finds those enchantments, the Eel Umbras to protect that Bogle. These are all things he's trying to do. Though he's on an aggressive path, he needs the cards to be able to do it properly. So Walker of the Grove, 8-mana card, that's pretty big, but look at the Evoke cost. The Evoked is 4 and 1. When it leaves the battlefield, create a 4/4 green elemental token creature. So you got to remember, that's a 5-mana 4/4. Or it's an 8-mana 7/7 and then 4/4, so very huge. Umbra coming through again. We have the Totem Armor. Look, we've been through the Totem Armor several times now. +1/+1 first strike. These are all the things exactly you want on a Bogle. Wandering Champion, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, if you control a blue or red permanent, you may discard a card if you do draw a card. So that's rummaging right there, discarding and then drawing. Not as good as looting because you have to discard first. You don't get the options, but at the same time, look, it's a 3/1. You can buff that up pretty hard. Give it an Umbra, Hyena Umbra for first strike. Always great. That's the conversation. The Platinum Imperium's coming through. There's the Desolate Lighthouse there. The conversation of what on earth did you pick because you passed me a Temporal Mastery. Temporal Manipulation. How could you do such a thing? And I think Al's fine with it because by looking at Darren's deck, he's in reds and blacks, noticing that none of the other colors were coming his way. Maybe he didn't pick that Temporal Manipulation. I know that's a hard thing not to pick, but not being in those colors, you don't want to be in that. The Desolate Lighthouse, though, puts him into blue. All right. Now we're into the deck building of the draft. So Al is very, very happy about this. I think he's drafted incredibly well throughout this. His game plan came together. The Slippery Bogles deck, pack 1, he saw the game plan, he went for it straight away, and he was rewarded profusely. We can definitely see here in Darren's selection, he has very little blue. That Temporal Manipulation definitely got passed on again, which is crazy to think. Similar to the Platinum Imperium, several mythic level cards are just passing through. No one needs a buy of it because it's just not in their game plan, and it's so important to have a strong game plan. You can't just be taking value cards in these sets. You really need to follow it. There's the Containment Priest passing. I bet Al was sad to pass that Containment Priest on, but look at what he's got here. He's got the Celestial Colonnade, the Eldrazi Conscription. He's got the 3 colors that he's looking for. I know there's the red card in the corner, but unfortunately that was just something he had to take. He didn't really get a choice there. But you've got green, blue, and white. Bant Central. I think this is absolutely perfect for Al. Not a lot of ramp, though, so he's going to be trying to deal with how can he chump and survive the early game to really get his pieces in play. There's the Alara. He's very excited to see some of these cards. Alara and Eldrazi Conscription. He's got the standard combo. This was an all-star once upon a time, and it has come back to haunt the field again. So currently we're just splitting it into piles. This is going to be a fairly quick process for Al to figure out what he wants. The hardest part for him is going to be taking cards out. Draft is only a 40-card format, not 60 as per regular Magic. Your sideboard is everything that you've drafted as well. It'll be a best-of-3 format, so very, very standard across the board when it comes to Magic, other than the 40-card aspect. Basic lands are obviously included in that 40 cards. You can definitely go above that, but it's generally not recommended unless your game plan really suggests having to get more cards. If your entire deck's dredge, maybe it might be worth putting a few extra cards in for that fear of decking yourself and losing your library. But here we go. We've got 3 colors. Al's very happy. He's got so many things on color. It was actually very, very good pull for him to even have the Celestial Colonnade come back. I can't believe it's a 5-mana 4/4 punch you in the face. Having flying in here, unless his opponents can deal with flying, I think Al can just, even down the Slippery Boggles train, it's a hexproof, so it's hard to remove, yes. But if you can't remove a flying creature either, you're in a lot of strife. You need to have flying defenders. There's the Revlar coming through for Darren. You need flying defenders, always to remove flying. And if you don't have those two options against Al, I think you're in a lot of trouble. He has done very, very well. Not much self-removal for Al, though. This is a huge, huge weakness in his deck, I believe. He just does not have ways to deal with his opponent's creatures or graveyards if they're trying to dredge, anything like that. He can definitely protect himself. And there's the old thought process and the old strategy here, where if you have a big creature, I'm just going to put a bigger creature on the field. And I think that's what Al's game plan here is. He's not going to try and kill your creature. You're going to say, I have a 3/3, and he's going to say, great, I have a 4/4. You're going to say, I'm going to try and kill your 4/4, and he says, no, you don't. Here's a 5/5 as well. So having all these flying cards as well, it's going to be huge. There's going to be so much pressure from Al the entire time. I just fear if a deck, even a deck with heavy removal, isn't going to deal with it. But if he comes up against a certain card that he can't deal with, I know it's hard to put in Emrakul, but a Through the Breach Emrakul or a Gorier's Vengeance is going to do some work if someone can manage it. But it's going to be crazy for Al. I think he's done a very, very good job here. He's just going to be afraid if he can't remove certain things on the field. What have we got on Darren's side, though? He's probably also going very aggressive here. I'm seeing a lot of red and a lot of white, generally colors that are aggressive together. The Platinum Imperium, that's very, very important. So here's an interesting thought process for Al. If that Platinum Imperium's on the field from Darren, and he can't kill it, it doesn't matter how big his Boggles is. All that Darren has to do is not attack with the Platinum Imperium, make sure it remains alive, and if Al can't deal with it, well, he can't win. As simple as that. So it's without maybe the Annihilator trigger from the Eldrazi Conscription, sacrificing everything else on Darren's field to finally get rid of the Platinum Imperium. That is one of the only ways I can see him winning, unless Darren tries to mill out and lose the rest of his deck. So that'll be a very interesting matchup to see what's going on in there. But Darren is also looking very, very aggressive. We've got some low-cost whites, low-cost reds. Ancient Tomb as well came through. So he's going to be actually ramping pretty well, which is quite nice. I think an Ancient Tomb in an aggressive deck, who cares if you copy 2 if you can start bashing face a bit more. Containment Priest is also very, very good in that. Helps remove any of the threats. Those mid-range threats that are slightly bigger than Darren while he's trying to be aggressive. Containment Priest definitely fills that niche. We have double Pulse of Murasa on for Al as well, so he's also gaining a bunch of life. I think he's going to want to be the aggressor, and having something like that return those creatures, gain him some life, allows him to just consistently keep being aggressive. So this is going really well. Darren again. He's got a few flies in there. Revlark's a really nice addition. I think we're finally at the point where it's more a question of what are we cutting than what are we putting in. Al has shedded his weakness up in the corner. He's got plenty of low costing creatures to be on the aggressive train, which is great. Cool. So while they're finishing building up that, we've got 2 box toppers we can see there. This is actually 2 boxes of that we've gone through, 8-player draft. They were cracking some packs earlier, playing some pack wars and things like that. So the box toppers, there's 2 of them sitting there staring us in the face. Cannot wait to be opening them. It's always very, very exciting to see 2 box toppers sitting there waiting to get opened. I remember opening our first box topper on stream, getting that card. It's just such an exciting feeling. So there's a lot on the line for these guys. A lot of fun to be had today in these games. Very excited to see what's happening. The foil Eldrazi Conscription, I think that's a very interesting card. These games might go a little bit longer if there's plenty of removal. I think the game's going to be over before Al ever really gets to cast the Eldrazi Conscription. But the Alara is still there. Being able to turn 6, cast the Lost Soul of Alara and put an Eldrazi Conscription on field will pretty much make most opponents scoop. So now the question of enchantments for Al. What is he going with the enchantments? He's got many, many decisions here. He really pulled quite well on all of those enchantments. And I don't think he needs all of them, but Voltron and a Slippery Boggles is never a bad feeling. So that's really exciting. If we could get maybe a few of Darren's cards up on the screen, it's not the perfect clarity to see. If my co-worker on the production can manage that. Just a few of the cards, just to see they're not as in perfect clarity. Well, there's a Containment Priest up in there. We've got Revlux as well. The red white, can't quite see. I just want to see a few different collections that we've got there. I know there's the Ancient Tomb. He's also got the. So if a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exiled instead. Containment Priest is really cool for that. That's a lot of graveyard hate in Containment Priest. As I said, there's a lot of dredge in this set, which is really cool. There's a lot of Entombs and Unburial Rites in this set as well. So to have Containment Priest flash in is absolutely huge. Revlux is always really huge. Give us a close up on the Revlux and the Platinum Emporium, also really cool cards. What are some of the biggest dredges that we have in this as well? We have an Unburial Rites, I believe. That's going to be huge for Golgari Grave Trolls and things like that. When Revlux leaves the play, up to 2 creature cards with power 2 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. It's also a 4/3 flyer, so it's a 5 mana bash your face in for 4, which is always really cool. And Revlux leaves battlefield, return up to 2 target creatures, power 2 or less. Is there many cheap creatures on Darren's side? I imagine there would be. But that's a 6 mana evoke cost. It's quite expensive unless you've got some really cool ETB effects. We can see Darren's pretty much sorted on that one. We have some really cool dredge targets in this. So Resurrection as well. Darren had a Resurrection on his side. That's always really huge. Return target creature from the graveyard to the battlefield. Containment Priest is obviously very huge for that. Very important. There's just so much graveyard recursion in this. If we get Unburial Rites on the screen, I'm sure there's going to be some Unburial Rites floating around. This is a really cool card in this set, one of my favorites. It's 4 and a black, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, but also has flashback. That's also huge, 3 and a white. So it is somewhat restrictive in that sense, but to be able to return creatures to the battlefield so consistently and so readily is absolutely huge. At Uncommon, we're definitely going to be seeing that card quite a bit. We also have Golgari Thug and things like this for our dredge targets. There's got to be a dredge deck floating around that we'll see somewhere. Golgari Thug, Golgari Grave Troll, Dakmor Salvage. Golgari Grave Troll isn't rare. Modern All-Star once upon a time for a dredge, but banned for very good reason. Enters the battle with a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature card in your graveyard. You can remove a +1/+1 counter from it to regenerate it, and guess what? You kill it, and then you dredge 6, bring it back, and look, there's 6 more creature cards in your graveyard. So that's a very cool card. Being able to regenerate it makes it very hard to kill. So, excuse me, what we're seeing here is a lot of creatures that are very hard to kill right now and come back a lot. So this set is all about using those cards in your hands to just constantly recur these cards. Every card you have isn't a once-off use. It comes back time and again. And if you can't remove it permanently, if you can't remove things from graveyards, if you can't deal with these recursions, I think you're going to be in a lot of strife. This is why Evasion's just so huge, because if they keep recurring their 2/2 on the ground, your Serra Angel, your 4/4 Flyer, your Celestial Colonnades, your Wingsteed Riders are definitely going to be pushing through. We've also got a few more of the commons and uncommons in Golgari Thug. Golgari Thug. That's a really cool card in here that we're running. We've got Malevolent Visions is another one that helps really well with these. I think it's Malevolent Visions. It's a good looting effect, which is really cool. If you're seeing a lot of green-red, being able to discard a lot of your cards for madness triggers and things like that. We saw the Root Waller as well before with a madness cost of 0. We have Faithless Looting in this set as well. 1 mana, draw 2, discard 2. Flashback for 3 mana, draw 2, discard 2. So we have so many ways of putting things in graveyards, of recurring them from graveyards, of dredging from graveyards. We can see even in a blue, white, green deck, we have so many ways to recur things from our graveyard from Al. I think it's absolutely huge from Revlux and Resurrections. This is just brilliant by Wizards. It's a wonderful set. I cannot recommend getting out and drafting it enough. If you're at your local store, get to F&M, Friday Night Magic, to draft this up. General Games Frankston does it from 7 o'clock. Or General Games Malvern East. All wonderful places to do a Friday Night Magic draft, where we'll be doing a lot of these UM drafts on demand. So you can join our Facebook pages, General Games Malvern East MTG Community, or General Games Frankston MTG Community. Wonderful places to get all the information about these games. Al Cairns, Cheshire, he also plays down in Frankston quite a lot. So if you're looking for Commander games, you can definitely head in and play some games around. So it's really, really cool stuff floating around by in General Games Frankston as well as Melbourne East. So very, very excited to see these games getting played out. Very, very powerful Magic in these players' hands. Al now resetting up his cards to be in CMC order of 1, 2s, and 3s. Make sure he's on curve. These are tough decisions. What has he finally got to remove? I think his deck's nearly in order. He's just trying to figure out these last few cards and then throwing some lands in. So we can see Darren already sleeving up. Whilst they're sleeving up and sorting out all of these, we're going to have a quick break here on the stream. Get these people ready. Get us all pumped up for some games. I'll be commentating through them as well. So I'm Max Curcio from General Games. Thank you so much. And we'll be seeing you back in about 5 to 10 minutes. We're going to have a quick break. Thanks, guys. Welcome back to General Games Ultimate Masters Draft with Chesh here playing the Commander as our special guest today. We have Al versus our one and only Jimbo Dowling. He's one of the bigger guys within the Magic community in Victoria. He's also one of the guys that runs our store and the Magic community within our stores as well. So well known within the local community, and Al Kane's well known within the online community as well. So we've got two real big stars for our game one, which is absolutely cool. I'm very, very excited about this game. Both of these are incredibly good players. Rolling to see who gets turn. We saw Al Kane's deck. He is definitely running the Boggles enchantments. We didn't get too much on Jim's, unfortunately, as he was down the other end of the table. But he's on Black-Red Madness, is what I'm told. So, as we were talking about before, we did not see many Madness or Dredge cards. We saw a few discards from Al and a few Resurrections and things, but didn't get much of that graveyard interaction that I was definitely looking to see in the draft, and this is one of the reasons why. The other person was next to him, also taking away all the Dredge, so we can see exactly why we weren't getting any of that Al. He was begging for the Madness stream to come true, to get the memes on the back, but we did not get to see much of that. We will, however, get to see it game one because of Jim. So already I can see a Sanitarium skeleton in there. We're getting recursion. And there it is. Slippery Burgles, turn one. Jim crying with disdain. How does he deal with that? He has no idea already. What does he do? He plays a Mountain and Passes because unfortunately he just does not have many other options. Al automatically getting in there with the one. Is he going to be playing anything else? Yeah, so this was the Hero of Eros. He chose this over the Temporal Manipulation earlier, so keep in mind the high priority he puts on this card and casting his enchantments for cheaper. Getting in there with the cheeky one for the Slippery Bogles. Now we've got the colours ready for Jim. Probably just going to throw... That wasn't a Sanitarium Skeleton at all, sorry. Which one was that, as Al also reads it? Chainer's Edict. That's a very, very, very solid for Jim off the bat, so cannot complain. Yeah, if Al played the Umbra instead of the Hero, would have been even better for Jim. But the Chainer's Edict coming through, sacrificing the creature. There goes the Slippery Burgles. The flashback as well from Chainer's Edict is going to be petrifying for Al. I said before, there's not the best way to kill the Slippery Bogles with destruction or damage purposes due to the hexproof nature. You've got to get sweepers or the ability to sacrifice a creature, and that is exactly what Jim has here. He has the ability to sacrifice a creature. Play the Chainer's Edict. Al just biffs in for 2, I believe, with the Hero of Eros. That's why it is tapped, but misses the 3rd land drop, I believe, which is absolutely huge. Instead, we have Jim frantically searching over here. He'll draw 2, then discard 2 in a moment. There's the Chainer's Edict. 7 mana, target player sacrifice a creature. That's huge. Madness trigger comes in. So here we go. This is exactly what we're talking about when it comes into these graveyard decks. He's drawn 2 cards, discarded 2, paid the Madness trigger, the Madness cost to get the creature into play. Jimmy's actually on 17, not 19, just to confirm the champion Hero of Eros did bash face before. But Frantic Search, there it is. Draw 2 cards, discard 2, untap 3 lands as well, and then consequently got the Madness to cast it, which is great. We have on this side Al hitting his 3rd land drop, so that's great. Very, very unfortunate to try and miss that one. Casts the... Ooh, can't quite see that. We'll get it up in the screen in just a moment. But casting a bit more threats. Hero of Eros, unfortunately, not been able to beat through the Madness trigger. Over there, we have Jim, Bash in Face, Al's question in here, chump block or to not chump block. Nah, just takes it. Ikatian Cry, there it is. Discard a card, create 2 1/1 white citizen creature tokens as well. The Acacian Crier. So it's a 3-mana 1/1, yes, but at least can create a chumper over several times. There comes the Bolt. Removal coming in from Jim, getting rid of that. Does not want to be dealing with 2 1/1 Soul's Fires. Simple, destroy target creature equal. Target creature you control deals damage to its power to any target. Any target is the new keyword in from Wizards. From Wizards, it means that you can target planeswalkers, creatures, players, anything like that. Whereas some cards now can only target planeswalkers, or creatures, or players. It is important to make that distinction. Here is the 4-mana 6/6. Unfortunately, 4-mana 5/5. Oh, the humanity! It's only a 5/5. What are we gonna do? Al's very excited about that. Feels great dumping that 5/5. No more just getting chumped by Jim's Madness dog over there. Not seeing any enchantments from Al, which is very, very sad. That Chainer's Edict still looming away in a turn or two from Jim. There's the Reckless Worm. It's a trample, 4/4 trampler, so just not much that you can do about that, except play a bigger boy. So now Jim's taking taking the 5, and then getting another 4-mana 5/5 on the field. Jim is not quite sure what to do, so he's going to frantically search for an answer through his deck. I know this is very, very scary for him right now. But here he goes. Drawing 2. He'll untap 3 lands as well as part of the idea of frantic searching. But has to discard 2 cards first. So we're definitely seeing a heavy amount of red, a heavy amount of removal coming from Jim, which is very, very important here because this is a deck. As we've said, Al doesn't have a lot of removal to deal with that 4/4. He's just going to play bigger creatures. And that's exactly what he's done. He's got now 5/5, 2 5/5s on the field, which is very, very huge. There's the -1/-1 counter on the other one. Which if you could get a black dice on that just to kind of clarify the differences would be huge. There's Fiery Temper coming out, killing the Hero of Eros. Very, very huge as well. Fiery Temper having flashback to... sorry, it's a Madness cost to destroy target creature pretty much. Does 3 or 4 damage to target creature. It does mean that if Al wants to put these enchantments onto his abominations, he's going to pay the full cost. But look at things not coming too much from him anyway. We've got Eldrazi Conscription in hand and the Wingsteed Rider. So he's really not getting the opportunity of casting any of these enchantments that he once thought possible. That was all at the during Al Kane's turn. Was what Jimbo was doing. Now he gets to untap his lands and actually have a turn. So the Sanitarium Skeleton is huge right now. The main reason why is because he gets to cast it, chump block with it, and then bring it back to his hand during the end of turn as well. So as you can see, 3 mana return Sanitarium Skeleton from your graveyard to your hand. So it's a 4 mana gain 5 life is what we're seeing right here. As each turn it chumps away the abomination. It's a very defensive plan. It's not an aggressive plan. Jim somehow has to deal with those, take them off the field before he can actually deal any damage. Al actually not sad about seeing lands here. So here we go. He's coming in, bashed in face, being very, very aggressive. A few more lands gets that Eldrazi Conscription in play, which is not something that you want to see as Jim, but you definitely don't want to be casting the Eldrazi Conscription for its full mana cost. That's not how you play that card, but it's looking like it's what's happening. We have the double block coming in from Jim to kill off the abomination. Very, very important. Now the Sanitarium Skeleton can just chump block the other one for days, and Al correctly divvying up the damage. There's the Mad Prophet. He gets to rummage, which is referred to as discarding a card and then drawing a card. So we can see Jim just wanting to get deeper into his deck, getting rid of these useless cards. Again, rummaging, discarding the land that doesn't need anymore, drawing something else. He's got 2 lands in hand. That feels so bad. Jimmy's not in the best position right now. Being on 7 life with the Wingsteed Rider, just bashing his face for 2. That is a 4-turn clock. In 4 turns without an answer, Jim will in fact die. That's another land coming from Al, so very close to that Eldrazi Conscription. There's the chump block we're talking about. He'll take it. Takes 2, unfortunately, which is bad. Puts him down to 5. But the Sanitarium Skeleton, end of turn, coming straight back to his hand, getting ready to chump that 5/5 again. There it is. We can see that's until he gets an answer. That's unfortunately the only thing that he's got. What do we have here? He still has the Chainer's Edict in graveyard as well. So let's keep in mind that is huge. Being being able to chump block the Abomination, potentially getting that Wingstein Rider sacrifice would be very, very powerful. The Mad Prophet definitely coming into some serious benefit for Jim here, being able to get away these lands. Here we go. That's the flashback. The Unhallowed, Moan of the Unhallowed gets a bunch of zombies. Very, very good. That's called jump blockers. We're getting a dice onto that one. There it is. So we have Jim and his zombie getting ready to block the Abomination. Potentially triple blocking the Abomination and then tapping the Mad Prophet as well, trying to remove that. That means when the Trader's Edict comes into play, it does get to remove the Wingsteed Rider. So this is huge. Al should definitely be aware of that, of the Trader's Edict in the bin, which means that Eldrazi Conscription becomes a lot worse suddenly. If you can't get that out very, very soon, as you can see, Al knowing straight away that he's just going to triple block that. There goes the Sanitarium Skeleton. That is a great value engine from the Mad Prophet and the Sanitarium Skeleton. Being able to discard it and then draw a card and then bring it back into your hand. That's a very good recursive engine there for Jim, just getting through his deck. But I'll definitely aware that Chainer's Edict's in the bin. He does not want to get his Abomination chump blocked by the 3 of them. He only gets to kill 2 of the creatures, probably the Mad Prophet and a zombie. For the sake of his 5/5, the 2/2 keeps going, but the Chainer's Edict just removes it, and all of a sudden Al's in a very, very bad position. So here we can see a few things. We've still got the enchantment to make him flying, I believe. I can't quite remember the name. This is a Mammoth Umbra as well. That's always huge. I believe that has Totem Armor, so it stops him from stops the Wingsteed Rider from dying, as well as there's a trigger now for targeting Wingsteed Rider with a spell. There it is. Enchanted creature has +3/+3 Vigilance and Totem Armor. Absolutely huge. And it gets a +1/+1 counter because of the Heroic. This is petrifying for Jim. He's going to respond by returning the Sanitarium Skeleton, discarding it to the Dragoon, and then chumping. So very, very interesting. Jim's definitely on the back foot right now. 3 life. Chainer's Edict will not get him out of this. Shriekmaw, however, might help. Destroys target non-artifact, non-black creature. So he will be removing that Mammoth Armor. Not the worst. Unfortunately, there is still a 3/3 flying, and Jim is on 3 life. Chainer's Edict will not keep him alive here. He will discard a card to draw, hopefully, an answer. Nah, didn't get it. Scoops going to game 2 onto sideboard. And there's the Eldrazi Conscription begging to play it. Al was so close. But I think the Chainer's Edict in the bin just... It made that Eldrazi Conscription significantly worse. The Totem Armor definitely does help that, which is very, very cool. So Jim straight into sideboard and realizing now that, yep, there's the Flyers coming straight into the deck. Jim was the one that managed to get the Temporal Manipulation. Oh, not even playing at main board, though. That is straight into a sideboard card. Understandable. What does Take an Extra Turn do in this? There's an old story that Jim used to tell me. He says, Time Walk is or Temporal Manipulation. Time Walk is the power 9 card. It's a 2 mana that does the same thing. So Take an Extra Turn after this one. And a lot of the time it's referred to as 2 mana Explore, but it's blue instead of green because you draw another card, play another land, and then pass the turn. And in this format, a lot of the time it is simply that. It's 5 mana, draw a card, try and see further into your deck and try and find that answer. The other stipulation is the win more facet of this card. If you've got quite a number of creatures on the field, bash in face, and you simply want a Temporal Manipulation to do it again next turn, if you've got a presence on your field that's very powerful, then you're just winning more. You know, your creatures are already doing the job. You don't need them to do more of the job. What we did see, though, in Jim's deck, which unfortunately he discarded and did not get to play, was Conflagrate. Conflagrate deals X damage, divided as you choose among any number of targets. It is XX red, so it's going to cost you, for every 2 mana you put in, it only gives you 1. However, what's more important is flashback here. It is red, discard X cards. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its flashback cost, then exile it. This is the huge part of this. Having this in the bin, as Jim got to rummage it away, and then paying red, discarding your hand, killing the field, killing the rest of it, and then paying more madness costs from your hand. It's very, very powerful. There's a lot of synergy in this card when it comes to madness, which is absolutely huge. Being able to spread that damage around is also very important for multiple creatures on the field. If you've got a bunch of low-cost guys, or you say, I have 5 cards in my hand, I'm going to pay red, and deal 5 damage to your face. That feels pretty good, and then you get to put a bunch of things on the field that we saw, all those madness triggers as well. Keep in mind there's a bunch of flashbacks in there as well, so discarding to flashback to then flashback those cards later on is also very, very huge. There's a lot of value in Jim's deck where he's just Constantly got threats, constantly got his graveyard interaction. Whatever's in the bin is definitely not just in the bin anymore. Though he has a graveyard, it's more of a second hand. You know, why would you play Magic with one hand when you can play Magic with two hands? So that's very, very cool from Jim. He drafted very, very well into that. But as we saw, the aggression from Al, the flyers that Jim couldn't deal with, the 5/5 abominations that Jim couldn't deal with, very well from Canes to get those on the field at the right times. You know, with only one creature on Jim's side, it only got 1/1/1 counter. So very well done from Al to get that on the field. We actually saw Jim deal with the Slippery Burgle, which was something I was commenting on earlier. It's very, very hard to deal with. Chainer's Edict does manage to do that, which is really, really cool. And the flashback can come back to help solve the next creature problem as well. But not enough. The Slippery Burgle wasn't what won the game. It was just simply big, dumb dudes in a 5/5. So very well done by Al Canes to win game one. A lot of pressure on both sides. Now we're going to go into game two. It's very interesting. I actually have a lot of favor towards Jim in this if he gets his removal early and gets some creatures. But as we saw, if Al could manage to get his board presence started early, I think Jim actually falls behind quite a lot. We saw him going through his deck pretty heavily, but he just couldn't find the answers. And he can easily fall into that trap of drawing a bunch of cards, going through his deck, having the value in the bin, but if you don't actually get to use that value, unfortunately, you've just drawn and discarded cards. So we'll see what happens this one. Al choosing he's thinking very hard. Yeah, I think that's a correct term there to mulligan. Correct decision. We had about 3 or 4 lands and the Sovereign of Lost Alara. And you don't want a 6-mana 3 or 4 lands unless you've got some more gas in the tank early to either draw or ramp or get some early threats on. That hand just doesn't do anything for a while. And we saw Jim in his first few turns manage to draw 4 or 5 cards, discard them all, flashback. You know, so you definitely need gas against Jim's deck right now. Didn't quite get to see Jim's hand. Oh, well, you can mulligan, you can shuffle, but you can have the same cards. Unfortunately, that is how variance works. The Sovereign of Lost Alara back in the hand. Celestial Colonnade as well, not bad at all. Scry to the top from Al. He is going to keep this, so happy to pick up that Plains. Saw the extra land. Forest is into a Slippery Burgles. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Turn 1, Slippery Burgles. There it is. Top deck me a Chainer's Edict. Chainer's Edict. Not a Chainer's Edict. A Mad Prophet, though, not that bad. Jim's going to pass turn now. The Mad Prophet, as we saw, definitely was a huge engine for Jim last turn, being able to rummage away those bad cards, all those flashback cards, all those madness cards did very well. There it is. Boggles, get in there, do the 1. Bash him for 1. No Chainer's Edict for Jim still, so going to see how we're going to deal with that. He's going to answer it with his own big creature there. There's the Chainer's Edict again. Answer it with his own creature. Slippery Burgle can come in and punch, and he will punch back. The Wingsteed Rider coming in again for Al, as we said before. Flying and the Heroic get to cast an enchantment onto it, make it big, make it scary. Evasion's just so huge. So Jim probably going to try and throw down the Mad Prophet this turn, or especially with his double madness, the Embermores. They were madness triggers, so Jim can rummage away with the Mad Prophet to then cast them for the madness cost. Definitely a lot of value here. So we're just going to see what's happening. Jim doesn't want to give away too much information. Al coming in, whacking for 2 in the air. Nothing Jim can do about that. Unfortunately, Jim's on 17 life with Al being on 20. And then we have another rummage effect. So we have a discard effect from Jim's in-card play to put a madness trigger on the stack for his Embermore. And he gets a little spark token here. We now have a 4/4 Trampler on the field for Jim, which feels great. He's got another one in hand, so he's just seen he's got a lot of gas on this right now. Al might actually need to get some bigger creatures. He might need to see some enchantments and totem armors on this field very, very shortly, or else he just might get aggroed out. A 4/4 Trampler, there's not a lot you can do here. Taking 5 for Al. There's the Reckless Worm, Madness 3, 4/4 Trample. Look, it just gets the job done. We have the Sovereign coming in. As soon as that Sovereign hits play, though, Jim is very, very scared. He needs to be very, very afraid of that card. Eldrazi Conscription coming into play is just not something that you want to deal with. Kitchen Finks, absolutely great. Very, very good against the aggression of Jim. Jim is going low to the ground for cost in these mid-tier creatures that are just trying to beat face and having a Kitchen Finks. Just being able to chump block this feels great. Being able to chump block and gain the life, more importantly, means that Al can stall out for just enough time to be able to play that Alara as well, the Sovereign of Alara. So Jim with 2 4/4 tramplers, look, it's scary. It's very scary. Jim's going to get to do the big old dab, turn sideways and say to his opponent, combat math is for blockers. What is your decision? Al does not have many good ones, unfortunately. He can try and double block with the 3/2 and the Boggles, take one of the Ember Maws with him. Doesn't feel the worst. Nope, going to block the elemental creature token. So this is the Spark Splitter. This is the thing creating the elemental tokens. It's red and tap, discard a card, which has been the Ember Maws to create a token called Spark Elemental. It has trample, haste in the beginning of your end step, sacrifice, Spark Elemental. So very, very huge. As we said, Jim's just very, very aggressive right now. He's discarded 2 cards and they've ended up on the battlefield. He now has 2 more zombies in play and he's going to flashback that potentially soon to just have more zombies. So every single one of Jim's cards has 2 activations to it, never just 1. This is very, very aggressive from Jim, which is wonderful. It's what he needs to do right now, because if Al manages to do what he's about to do, this suddenly gets very, very scary for Jim. We spoke earlier about getting the Mythic Bound combinations on play. Where it is, the Boggle's coming with the Hexproof coming in for the attack. Yep, Jim, you better read that card. This was a standard deck. It was called Mythic Bant once upon a time because it just played all the Mythics in the format. You have such an incredible powerhouse of a card right now, attacking with a Slippery Boggles that's going to become an 11/11 Trample Annihilator 2. No, sorry, 12/12, I beg your pardon. It has Exalted. Let's just keep this in mind. Here it is. Bam, 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 bam. We have the powerhouse as he searches through the deck. Oh, this must feel absolutely great. This is petrifying. Big smile on Jim's face as he respects this. He was playing around this time. Eldrazi Conscription has Trample as well. What is your answer, Jim? What is your answer other than fear? Fear and fear. Sweat and tears. It's a 12/12. He's just double checking the card. Yep, this is very scary. That Boggles has Hexproof as well. A Chainer's Edict will not get Jim out of this situation. There's just too many things on the field to be able to sacrifice. There's no sweeper that can deal with that as well. It's a very bad position for Jim to be in. And even if he swings with everything next turn, he's getting Al's getting 2 more life from the Kitchen Finks. All right, we're gonna make a 3/1. We're gonna discard a land, and then yep, Jim just took it, and he's gonna try and swing for lethal. If he has an answer here to kill one of Al's other creatures, we have a Spark Splitter still going off. That's 4, 8, 11, 14, 15, 16, 18 damage on field that Jim can potentially produce. Which is not a small amount. Al will gain the 2 life and be able to block well, but Jim hasn't got many other outs. If he can remove one of those creatures, he's going to be feeling very good. But we can see here, unfortunately, doing some combat math. Not Jim's forte. He prefers to be a control player here. But he's in the situation when combat math is required. And never got to throw down that Mad Prophet, unfortunately. He does get to throw the Hasty Boy down, so that's some extra damage. Discard a card. Make a 3/1. There's the Chainer's Edict that just didn't matter. As we said, too many creatures on the field. Jim had to figure it out, and he's just attacking with all. Doing a bit of math here. The biggest guy is going to block the biggest guy. Kitchen Finks is going to block that, gain some life. Wingsteed Rider. And then I think that still might be lethal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage after blocks. Gain 2 life and take 11. I think that might be lethal from Jim. Whew, what a tight game. He got the combo out. He got the Mythic Bands, got the Conscription out, and just got to beat him down. This is the powerhouse of aggro when you have so many cards that just... Jim never lost a card. Every card he played became another creature on the field. Every card he discarded became more value, more engine. And even though Al got the Mythic Band combo off, such an incredible thing. Let's keep in mind that Jim was nearly dead. If he had one more turn was all Al need to just kill Jim on the spot and take this 2-0. But Jim just decided to double down, take the aggression, debating if he wants that Temporal Manipulation in play now because he realizes just how aggressive Al can be. Maybe that extra turn is what's going to be required to attack with. You know, if Al's creatures are tapped out and Jim gets some free attacks in there, a few bits of damage could change it. Al here, very confident in his deck, not thinking he needs to go back to any sideboard changes here, but Jim trying to figure out how he can get that Temporal Manipulation in his deck. That was an incredible turn of events. We got such huge creatures on the field there attacking each other. That was very, very entertaining to watch. Very, very excited about this. So finally, on to Game 3. This will be the third and final game of these two giants in the Magic community in Australia. The Mad Prophet did not do the work as I thought he would, being able to rummage away those cards, but instead just got played as a 4-mana 2/2 haste. It was the exact amount required to get lethal onto Al. Very, very interesting. So unfortunately, the producer has had to duck off for a moment, so we'll have that Mad Prophet staring at us with his bell. Bring out your dead, as he likes to scream. Alrighty, on to Game 3. This has been very, very exciting, very cool. Back to 2020 life. For those of you watching on Twitch, Cheshire Cat is always live playing Commander. You can follow him on Twitter and Facebook to figure out all his times. General Games, we live stream a lot of our different major events. We do Legacy, Highlander, Vintage as well. So keep in mind, jump on our Facebook and our Twitch streams. Follow us on Twitter, General Games AU, General Games. And we'll give you updates on when we do those. A bunch of fun. We don't do them too often, unfortunately, but when we do, we love to stream them and get the community involved. So another mulligan from Al, unfortunately, going down to 6. We have a Shriekmaw on Jim's side, the Temporal Manipulation that he sideboarded in, the Embermaw Hellion, the Trampler with Madness for 3 coming into play again. There we see the Temporal Manipulation. We'll see if it comes in handy. Jim does not have much blue in his deck from memory. He has 3 swamps in hand, so that's definitely not what he wants to see. No mountains, so we'll see what he can do with that Temporal Manipulation. Al, what has he got? He has got Terramorphic Expanse, I believe, Baskin Rootwaller, Scries to top. Camera, can we please jump back into focus? Give it a good click. There's the forest. Perfect. Baskin Rootwaller. Jim throwing up his hands, expected another Slippery Bogle, but no, just another 1/1. It's fine. Another 1-cost creature. Because Al wonderfully saw many of those. And there it is. He's going to turn and bash. He may discard. It's a 2-mana. He can buff up the Baskin Rootwaller if he wants. Turn it into a 3/3. Can only do it once. Nope, plays it up a forest. Does the thing. Bashes face. Says take 3. Your move. There's an island. All right. Jim's not feeling bad. He would much rather see a mountain than an island right now, having two red cards and a blue, all costing double red, double blue. The Shriekmaw is the only thing that's really coming into play right now, and he does not want to evoke that. I think he'd rather have a threat on board, but there it is. A 3/3 is petrifying. Al would have just sat there for the next 2, 3, 4 turns and hit him with a 3/3, and unless Jim found the answer, it was just going to get worse and worse. So here we have Al using his Terramorphic Expanse, getting the basic island, passing turn, nothing crazy there. Jim with his first red mountain, but he needs the second one. He needs a discard spell, some form of ability to discard one of his Hellions. L, Plains, Island, Forest, and slaps down a Abomination. So this is the perfect situation from Al. Jim has no creatures. It's simply a 4-mana 6/6. That is absolutely huge. That is well and truly above curve. Oh, and there's the answer to it. Absolutely snaps it off, Jim. Too easy. Says, please remove that 6/6 from my field. I do not want to die. Thank you very much. Al, unfortunately, not a lot of gas happening right now. Giving Jim the time to stabilize with those lands. Getting his second red source, which is great. Gets his 4/4 Trampler. Doesn't even have to Madness at cost. The Reckless Worm. There's the Wingseed Rider from Al. Finally gets some threats on board. And there's the Eel Umbra as well. Protecting that. Trigger on the stack. Gets his +1/+1 counter. That is now a 4/4 flying totemed armor Wingsteed Rider. So that's very, very scary. Jim can punch for 4. Al says, I will also punch you for 4. Jim, there it is. Attacks with the Trampler. Plays a land. He has the second blue. He was thinking about it, but he doesn't want to show off the fact that he could be playing Temporal Manipulation right now. The double blue definitely can give that away. There is the extra armor. That is the Hyena Umbra coming in from Al. This Wingsteed Rider is now absolutely huge. It has first strike. Currently now a 6/6, I believe. 2 + 2 heroic triggers, plus the +1 plus the +1 from the 2 Umbras. And there's another Abomination. Al comes out of this guns blazing. Jim is now very scared. He's seriously on the back foot here. There is not a lot that can get him out of this. He'll attempt to fight with a 4/4. Al blocks with a 5/5 and says yes. But there's the removal from Jim. And gives the Abomination, I believe, -2/-2, something along those lines. -3/-3. Al takes the trample damage. Jim now says, Temporal Manipulation, give me my second turn. What are we going to do? We're going to draw and attack for 4. It does still keep Jim very far behind. If Al can put a number or two on his Wingsteed Rider, it's almost lethal for him right here. No Chainer's Edict from Jim, which is probably what he was hoping for. Instead, just makes some zombies. Taps his mana appropriately. Moan of the Unhallowed, there it is. Makes 2/2 zombies. Does have 8 in play next turn. 8 damage. Might try and make Al think twice whether or not he wants to attack. Jim can afford the flashback next turn as well, but unfortunately not going to give the lethal damage he requires to kill Al next turn. Al does, in fact, get a blocker on field as well. So, Al's feeling pretty safe about that one. Does go for the swing. Puts the pressure onto Jim. It does now mean if Jim has a Chainer's Edict, it will not kill his Wingsteed Rider or even reduce its attack damage. Here we have the Fiery Temper coming out, dealing 3 damage to the Cathian. Hasn't decided whether he wants to go face. He says, bolt your face. Go down to 8, please. This is him hoping to find the Chainer's Edict or a removal and potentially swinging for lethal. Taps the top of the deck. Oh, that's interesting. That is the Pauper All-Star. Gives target creature +1/+1 and haste. So still not lethal. Very close to. Jim just trying to do some basic math, see if there's anything in his graveyard he can use. There is a Reckless Charge. Target creature gets +3/+0 in haste. Sorry, +3/+0 with flashback. He can actually cast it for flashback as well. He can put it onto his haste on his Trampler, turn it into a 10/4 with trample. There it is. I think Jim did, in fact, top deck the victory right there. Flashback onto the zombie. Swings with all. Blocks the zombie. Land in hand. Good game, good game. Top decked exactly what I need with the Reckless Charge. That is a Pauper All-Star, that card. Making your creatures absolutely huge and just not been able to deal with. They have a wonderful chat about that. The Temporal Manipulation coming into play there, giving Jim that extra card to come into play. What a incredible play. Pulls it out. The Temporal Manipulation. So let's emphasize just how greedy Jim's play was this game. He had double blue in hand of the Temporal Manipulation, double red off his worm, double red off the Fiery Temper, and 3 swamps. 3 swamps. All right, none of that cast what he had in hand, and yet somehow he can pull out the exact top decks he needed. He gets the double blue, he gets the double red to cast his spells, takes the Temporal Manipulation to get exactly 1 card deeper, to get the Reckless Charge to then win that game. That was absolutely the greediest play from Jim, which honestly I expect from him. So well done for him. Absolutely incredible game. Al tried to play that as well as he could. He finally got his Umbras out on the Wingsteed Rider. That was really, really cool. Getting the big boy bashing for face. It did just turn into an arms race, and I guess Al blinked. Jim won it with a reckless charge. So that was it for round 1. We'll be back shortly with round 2. We'll see what's happening. We'll have Al on stage again with one of his opponents. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back very shortly. My name is Max. See you in a moment. So congratulations to Riley. We had a wonderful time. We might have to get you in for a bit of a chat about that soon. But we're very quickly going into game 3 of the draft. So very, very exciting here. We've got Jim Dowling on Black, Red, Blue Madness. And then Danny Cardamon on White, Green Creatures. So we saw Jim before playing against Al. He somehow pulled out an exact number defeat with Mad Prophet, 2 of the worms of the 4/4 Madness 3 trample.
Oh,
worms.
the Reckless Worm?
Yep, Reckless Worm, 2 of those on field.
Nice.
And then managed to Moan of the Unhallowed, flashback Moan of the Unhallowed.
Oh,
for exactly lethal.
Oh, nice. Well done.
Pretty cool game. That was when he had the conscription, Eldrazi conscription with the Sovereign of Lost Alara on field from Al.
So and still got there.
On the boggles as well. On the slippery
What?
boggles. It was a 12-12 boggles bashing with face. And Jim managed to bring it down on the dot. So very, very cool game that was happening prior to that. But for now, we're on the same Jim Dowling, Blue, Red, Black Madness, and White, Green Creatures. Bunch of enchantments, bunch of low costing. There was a Hero of Eros as well, things like that.
Oh, okay, nice.
So
a bit of a mix between Bogles and Blue-White Historic almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Unfortunately, no Bogles in this deck. I had a quick squiz beforehand. Become Immense is definitely in there and things like that.
Okay.
So there could be some cheeky shenanigans of a real big trampler coming into play.
Got to be watching out for those non-blocked creatures. Might just be dead on the spot.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm not sure if Jim's seen Danny play any of their games, but definitely a threat to worry about. Jim has a Chainer's Edict, which is a really good card to deal with that, and some Fiery Tempers, but nothing too much other than that. So he's just hoping to maybe take off a Temporal Manipulation at best, which was how he won the other game as well.
Yeah.
Top deck a Reckless Charge, flashback Reckless Charge, hit you in the face.
Oh, nice.
So Jim won the roll. He called evens correctly. Had a 50-50 chance. Sorry, Danny called odds incorrectly. I'm being corrected here. Jim, mulligan straight away. No lands. Reminds you of you back in that game.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, you went to 5 and still won.
Yeah, you get there. You just hope your opponent plays around the wrong thing.
So Danny, 4 planes, but a bunch of white cards to back it up. Is playing white-green, I want to confirm, even though that entire hand is white.
Yeah. Is there any creatures in the hand? It's God's Willing and a Hyena Umbra.
Is that a Fiend Hunter on front?
No, God's Willing.
God's Willing.
The protection from a color of choice.
Yeah, but then also looks like a white one. There could be a Fiend Hunter at the back.
Oh, okay. Slower start. Bogles normally, the white-green decks want to be quite aggressive, right? Especially in these Grixis decks.
100%. Jim coming out with the aggression straight away, getting his Vampires a 2-mana 2/2.
And that's the one with the comes back from the graveyard. You can pay the 4 for the 2/2 zombie.
Yeah.
Yes. Nice. Cool.
Exile Calls Accomplice.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So you'll find very quickly Jim is all about his graveyard interactions.
Yeah. Oh, Jimbo switching it up, making him the beatdown.
Yeah. Oh, he's a very aggressive deck. It's very impressive.
There's the Fiend Hunter you're talking about. Yep.
Coming straight away. Great work.
Yep. Definitely want to get rid of the Guild Mage before it starts just taking over. Before you have to spend any cards in your hand.
Oh, so powerful. But there's the Shriekmaw in Jim's hand. That's very scary. Yeah.
Chainer's Edict you're talking about earlier. Yep. Nice. Getting these creatures back.
You'll find that also Jim plays a card and then will play it again from his graveyard very quickly.
Yep.
These cards have multiple text on them. So he's value dot deck, I like to think. Danny's still seeing all the white, no green yet, so a few green cards in hand. Can't get the Umbras out, unfortunately, no creatures to be playing them on. So
yeah, might have needed to wait a turn for. Oh, it doesn't even work with the Chainer's Edict. Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Chainer's Edict is very, very powerful like that. That creature is definitely not getting destroyed. It is sacrificed. So Chainer's Edict is very, very powerful. It's done Jim some wellness here. He's a good dog. Jim points at you, says, discard a card, please.
Dimir Guildmage, also champion of Pygal in this format.
Yep.
instant hand disruption. You know, you're dead. Nothing in hand.
Exile target card from target player's graveyard and get a 2/2 zombie.
Oh, yeah. Gets rid of the flashback.
100%.
And you've now got a target for all your Umbras.
1/1 white-black flying spirit creature and gets the Umbra on!
How big is this thing?
The value gets rid of the flashback on the Chainer's Edict and says, here's a 5/5 vigilance flying.
5/5 vigilance. Yikes. All right.
4-turn clock.
That'll put a stopper on Jimbo's game plan.
Yeah. He does have the Shriekmaw in hand, I believe, from what I saw.
Oh, okay. So it'll get rid of the Umbra, but it still keeps the token. Oh, you can't target it. It's a black creature.
Oh, it is too. It's a white-black. Oh, this is... Jim read that card, just making sure. Wow, this is very, very powerful.
Oh, keep an eye on him, Judge. He's trying to sneak in the Shriekmaw.
Yeah. Jim Dowling is actually on 16 life, not 20. He did get beat down by 4, I believe. So yeah, Jim does not have a lot of answers. The Shriekmaw does not get to solve that problem for him.
So just looks for another answer, drawing a card.
There's the Umbra
there's
again.
second Umbra. Oh, man, it's going to be hard to get rid of. Is there a second Chainer's Edict in the deck?
I don't believe so. I definitely haven't seen it. But Jim's definitely hoping there was right now. Fiery Temper doesn't deal with it either. He's got that in hand. The way he solved this problem last time was just being more aggressive and being able to attack back. But the Vigilance...
Vigilance so hard to get around, especially in these limited formats.
And First Strike, it just means that you lose a creature. That's the whole thing. Look at Jim. He's like, please, I just want to shriek. Is he trying to do it?
Is the...
You got him? Judge.
Ah, well done.
Called the judge on him. Evoke the Shriekmaw to no effect. There is nothing but black cards on the field. So yeah, Jim not quite reading it. You probably should have read the apparition card.
Yeah, normally spirits are just the 1/1 white creatures, but cheeky little one word makes a difference.
Oh, 100%, because it's very, very powerful to try and remove some of those totem armors. But Jim, I think he's in a lot of strife right now. Look, he says pass.
Yeah, he's got the Frantic Search, which is an instant, so he gets to untap his stuff. So if you can... Oh, he doesn't have double red, though, so you can't, double Fiery Impulse, double Fiery Temper if he draws it.
Yep, just...
Really looking for...
Takes the beat down.
Might have to start jump blocking soon. All right, here we go.
Frantic Search.
Yeah, Frantic Search.
Moan of the Unhallowed, not bad at all.
You can jump block, go wide? Yeah, it's possible.
Discards the Fiery Temper, which he wish he could madness it right now, but unfortunately...
No, untaps the lands. Yeah, so it's fine.
Of course. So yeah, does get off the Fiery Temper, feels absolutely wonderful for Jim, and then he discards the Moan of the Unhallowed.
That's just straight to the face to 9. Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe there's a game plan there.
Yeah. Oh, the Sanitarium Skeleton. So this is a card that was absolute all-star for Jim. He had to deal with it's not aberrations, it's the Abominations. The 4-mana 6/6 gets -1/-1 for each creature your opponent controls.
Yep.
And a Sanitarium Skeleton blocks that really well.
Yeah.
So there goes the...
Just going in aggressive.
Yep. I don't think he has a choice right now because he's just getting beat in the face.
Yeah.
And he plays this... So this is a Dominaria All-Star.
Okay, yep. Not much of a Dominaria drafter, but yeah. So
Garner the Bloodflame Flash. When it enters the battlefield, return all creatures that died this turn to the battlefield.
Oh, okay. And all other creatures have haste.
To your hand, sorry. Yeah, and all other creatures have haste.
Okay, so he's trying to just hopefully... Oh, with the tokens, he can get them to haste in. So he's got 4 damage there.
This could be a lethal swing.
Yeah, you're going to have to hope for a trick in Danny's hand.
Yeah. Which I'm not sure, being white-green.
Does he have enough mana? Yeah, okay, yep.
Just enough. Brings in the 2, dabs, and says, combat math is for blockers.
Alrighty, fingers crossed.
Jim Dowling on 1 life.
Oh, he's got the flash. The spell mastery, because he's got so God's Willing is another instant.
Yep.
And then Danny can use the spell mastery because it gives it flash if you've got 2 or more instant or sorceries in your graveyard, so it can kill one of the creatures.
Here it is.
Oh, Jim doesn't have it.
Swift Reckoning spell. It's 2 more instant slots. Destroy target tapped creature. Wow, Jim nearly pulled it out on 1 again.
Well done, Danny.
Oh, great play. Absolutely great play. I think Danny baited that the whole way through. Knew it was coming. Had the extra instance. God's Willing was in her hand from the start.
Yeah,
in the hand. And absolutely great. So, I think now onto sideboarding, we can see there's a temporal manipulation there. Yeah. We're hearing the rubbings that one creature that beat down his face was the Chinese edicts that also would have saved him. So. Absolutely brilliant. The flashback did not have a chance to kill that creature. Instead, it became his own downfall. So, absolutely brilliant from Danny. Teaching the man a lesson.
All right. So, what do you think the sort of sideboarding things? I don't know much about the sideboard for UMA. Is there sort of cards to beat certain archetypes, or is it sort of just your normal limited? You're looking at almost at power and toughness and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a power and toughness. There's strangely enough not a huge amount of direct removal. There's dealing damage, which is huge, and a few sacrifice effects.
Yeah.
So obviously you're going to have some removal in these formats. It's very, very important, but it's very much a bomb format. You want to try and resolve your bomb and have enough to deal with theirs, right?
Yeah.
So having a unblockable almost first strike in vigilance, totem armor just makes life very difficult for Jim. He's relying on these sacrificing effects and things like conflagrate.
Yeah, okay.
So
he's much more of, so he's just focusing on answers, whereas Danny, her creature's just trying to smash in as quick as possible before he can stabilize.
Yeah. I think Jim has a temporal mastery floating around in his sideboard.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought I saw that.
Yeah.
Manipulation. Mastery's a miracle, right? Yeah.
Temporal manipulation. Which was very cool. He played it last game, as I said, in his previous game against Al, to top deck into the Reckless Charge, one card just deeper enough to cast it and flashback it. So Jim's always said multiple times that you'll find Time Walk, which is the power of 9 card. I said this before, which is 1 and a blue, take an extra turn, just turns into a blue Explore, which says draw a card, play a land. A lot of the times it is simply that, but for once that worked because it got in that extra card to get the lethal on board. So sometimes one extra card's all you need. Yeah.
I mean, Explore, modern All-Star at times sees plenty of play in that format, and that's certainly more high-powered than Draft.
We saw some spoilers from the new Ravnica set as well. I'm not sure if you've noticed.
Oh, I saw the Red Spectacle one, but I haven't seen anything else, I don't think.
I'm not sure what Spectacle is. I don't think we've got a full understanding of what that is. However, there was a blue-green Explore that was instant speed.
Oh, okay.
So it's blue-green, draw a card, you play a land from your hand.
Instant speed. Speed. Amulet Titan, get a little spicy little tech there. Oh, yeah, very nice,
really
very
cool
nice
stuff in there. So, that sounds a lot worse than Time Walk.
Yeah, but it's instant speed. I don't see Time Walk being instant speed.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty huge. So.
Dodger's Invasive Surgery, man, that sounds like a pretty bad card now. Time Walk, I think it might be a bit overrated.
Well, as we all know, what's Ancestral Recall even do? That costs a mana.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
I mean, you don't want that at all. You're keeping cards in your graveyard. Now your opponent's Deathrite Charmer's got more options.
Yeah.
You could just use Treasure Cruise.
Yeah, so much better. It removes all those options.
All the good ones. All the good ones.
We got the producer in our ears constantly laughing at our little hilarious jibs here. There is no such thing as a more powerful card than Ancestral Recall.
Oh, I don't know. Basic Island's been pretty good.
Well, they had the top 100 cards from Channel Fireball, was it? I think it was, or SCG.
I think Channel Fireball did that. Yeah.
And they put basic lands in like the top 15 or top 20.
Yeah, easily.
Which is very true.
Basic lands were the only things that were stopping me in the finals of the Highlander tournament.
Yeah, it's very true. Unfortunately, that game 3 that we saw, he just didn't get the chance to search out his basics.
Yeah.
If
he had basics, I was screwed.
Yeah. I saw you nearly take the back to basics out in the sideboard.
Yeah, I was like, do it. I wasn't sure. I kind of just wanted to see if he thought I was going to take it out.
Yeah. The mind game of it, I was saying.
That's sometimes all you need.
Same as a counterspell. Sometimes the presence of a counterspell is better than the counterspell itself. All right, so here we are. Game 2. Jim's losing the game. Nearly took it on 1, but Danny absolutely bringing it out. Took out the linchpin. Brilliant play from Danny. And bunch of lands in Jim's hand. And he throws up his hands saying, well, look, I'd rather have this than no lands.
Unfortunately for Danny, it didn't look like she had any cards in her hand.
Yeah.
Any lands. So, might have to have the real reverse mulligan on the other side this time.
Well, the problem with the no-land hand is it looks great.
I know, it's so hard. You're like, man, my hand would be perfect just if, I could play any of it.
That's the worst feeling. Like, but I've got 1 drops and 2 drops and scry 1 no land. Well, I lost.
Well, always another game.
You win some, you lose some.
Especially with the white-green decks being like somewhat, you said they're somewhat Bogles focused. You're like definitely looking for those creatures. That was definitely an issue at the start of the game for Danny. Just like having to use the beacon apparition to
get a 1/1
get a 1/1, which
flyer.
turned out to do plenty of work.
And that's exactly in these decks sometimes just getting that creature on board is all you need, and without the removal in 2 turns, you saw just what could happen.
Yeah, just blows out of the park. Is that a mountain in the hand?
In Danny's hand?
In Danny's hand, or is it just a
really cool
odd coloured?
No, I think it's a very cool plane.
Oh yeah, very cool planes.
The lighting made it a bit darker.
Yeah. I thought we had some real sideboard tech there for a second.
So this is another. Was that Olivia's Dragoon on Jim's side, and another Theros card with a heroic? I can't quite remember its name.
Theros, not my strongest set from memory.
Yeah. I'm sure it's some kind of heroic. You get a +1/+1 till end of turn or something like that.
Oh yeah, like the one that gives it on +1/+1 counters on each of your creatures. Maybe.
Yeah,
it's the double,
or even itself. Wingsteed Wider is in this set. There it is. So yep. Yeah, it's a +1/+1 counter on itself. There's a lot of that in this set, which is really, really cool. It means that every time you all your enchantments give +X, where X is always one more.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. Phalanx leader. Yeah.
Yep.
So +1/+1 on each counter.
Each creature you control. Yeah. That's huge. That's really, really cool. And because you put enchantment on it, you get the plus from the enchantment and then the 1. It's absolutely huge. So already, and then target it with another spell. Already +2/+2. Jim chump blocks. And then discards a. This is the word we're talking about.
So there was the prey upon fort, and then Jim had the madness, so he was able to stop combat that turn.
Oh, and sacrifice a creature, I assume.
Yeah, the 4-mana flashback marauder.
Yeah. So very, very well done from Jim. Maybe Danny a bit overzealous trying to put the enchantments on so early. Maybe had several different.
Oh, okay, this seems all right.
Ooh. Return target enchantment to your hand.
Yeah, getting the enchantment back to hand. And then if she gets another heroic creature, that card can go off. Like in the late game is a nice mana sink.
Lotus Eye Mystic said is Prowess. Oh, whenever turn target enchantment card from Kevin. Prowess is such a powerful mechanic in this.
Ixalan All-Star, Mark of the Vampire. We've got 6/6 trample lifelink coming in.
Oof. This is very scary for
Jim, becoming the Bogles deck himself.
Yeah. You became the thing you swore to destroy.
A little bit of a switch of positions with the aggro and the control deck sort of seem to be a bit mismatched.
Good stabilization from Danny. The same linchpin that came out before. Destroy target tapped creature.
Oh, and we've got double prowess here as well, plus the enchantment. It's like going to be hit for 6, I think. Help stabilize life totals out.
Yeah. Brings it back down. 20
not bad.
Still battling 8, but Jim's not in the worst position right now.
Yeah, he's all right. It's a control deck. You're always accepting that, you're trying to be behind, and if you've got only, still got 20 life total, it's a couple turns, we'll be fine.
Down to 6, though. Is this frantic search? He's going to draw 2. Draw his cards. Discard 2, and then
another reckless one.
Yeah, 2 reckless worms. So he has 3 in the deck. We discussed this before. Yeah. This card has seen too much, unfortunately. It is ridiculous. And the Mad Prophet? I guess discarding the other
reckless worm can't cast.
Yeah, exactly right.
What's the third card he's thinking of discarding?
The was that the Innistrad?
Yeah, the Shadows of Innistrad Madness one.
Yeah, Madness Vampire. She's a 3/2 or a 3/4, something like that.
Yeah. I think, the 4/4 trample is definitely where you want to be.
Petrifying artwork, by the way. It's the 2 little kids.
Yeah, terrifying.
So, again, having a 4/4 trampler. Danny thought that they got rid of one, and here's the other one. Ready and raring. Jim's not so certain what to do. Just slams it.
Yeah, you just slam the worm. Danny needs to produce another creature to stop her from dying next turn, and then he's still got the Mad Prophet to deal 2 with haste if he needs a little bit more damage. So it's not looking too bad for Jim. Might be able to bring it into a third game.
He represents lethal next turn and the turn after if she does get a creature.
Yeah,
if Danny does get a creature.
No, because you block the worm will die, and then
of course, yeah.
They have enough.
So
does Danny just have the 1 Swift Reckoning, or
not entirely sure? Well, there's the Shriekmaw. So I think Jim just wins now. Says that thing. Please remove it from the table. That's not black, is it? You just double check it right now. That creature's not black.
Conviction makes it black.
Yeah. No key things here, and then Danny screws. Fair enough. Unfortunately, very well top deck from Jim. He has a fair bit of removal in this deck, surprisingly. Shriekmaw, very, very good card in the format.
Very unlike Jim. Never a control player.
Oh, no, Jim doesn't do that at all. But these Reckless Worms have just done so much work for Jim. It is incredible.
Yeah, 3 mana 4/4, just so ahead of the rate, you know. You can get ahead quite easily with something like that.
And as you saw, so this is the first time that you've seen Jim's deck, but the amount of times that he re-interacted with his graveyard or things went to the graveyard for a split second before coming back onto the battlefield.
Yeah.
Incredible deck builder. We've changed his deck name to Reckless Worm suddenly. Recklessworm.deck.
Reckless Worm Tribal.
Absolutely loving it. I think Danny at this point, it's not so much white-green creatures, but white weenies with a green buff up as well. All the creatures in Reckless Worm Tribal. So very good game too. As we saw, Jim can switch. He removes yes, but he switches into a very, very aggressive deck by nature. 4/4 tramplers are just huge, absolutely huge behemoths to get through. And having so many of them on the field so consistently is very impressive. DIY Baneslayers for Danny.
Very accurate deck name for Danny.
Oh, 100%. We're doing very, very entertaining things here. I think Danny really needs to be focusing on getting a second creature in play. A lot of Jim's effects are sacrificing. He does have the destructions from the Shriekmaw, obviously, but there's a few sacrifice effects in there. So Danny really needs a second creature on field to protect the Baneslayer that they're trying to make.
Yeah.
And Jim just keeps doing what Jim does. He just throws down the big effects. These games haven't been too grindy or long because there's such aggression in them, so the Mad Prophet hasn't really come into play.
Yeah, I was going to say, it hasn't seemed as impressive the few times that Jim's had it. It's much more of almost the last card in his hand, but
yeah.
I guess that's just Danny putting enough pressure on him that he's like, you know, you need to have it now, or, you know, this is going to end pretty quickly.
100%. The first game I saw him against Al, that was a turn 4, slam it on the field, and he played 2 worms off it in the next 2
Wow.
turns. So absolutely disgusting from Jim. It was just draw a card and play a card for cheaper. But definitely not putting in the work. I think there's just better threats that he's got in hand that feel much more prominent to use. And as you said, there's too much of a threat from this Baneslayer from Danny's side.
Yeah.
So finally into the final game, presenting decks for the cut.
So Danny will be on the play this time.
Yes, 100%. I think he's being on the play right now. There's such aggressive decks that it's so important to be on the play. So I'm going to give this one to Danny. I think.
Yeah, I definitely think that they've got the upper hand on this one.
No Slippery Bogles turn 1, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it's a shame. But you know, sometimes just a 1/1 spirit can do the trick.
1/1 Black Spirit.
1/1 Black Spirit. Very relevant. Very relevant.
Because we do have the turn 2 Chainer's Edict if Jim does have it, but without that, again, if Danny can and maybe creature turn 2, turn 3, and then start Umbras, then start the enchantments.
Yeah, or just delaying a turn to get the God's Willing going.
Yep, Jim suddenly his Fiery Tempers and his Chainer's Edicts just don't do the job, and he has to go wide. Which his deck's very good at. The Mode of the Unhallowed is not bad at all. Alrighty, so there's some forests, some Hyena Umbras.
Pretty good start for Danny. Not a bad hand. Got a strong creature to enchant and got a removal spell for a Reckless Worm.
Yeah, would like to see an extra land very soon. Producer asking if he plays Reckless Worms. We're not sure yet.
Yeah. He might have boarded them out. Who knows? Wasn't that impactful.
Excuse me. Danny slamming that down, windmilling the creature, getting ready to put those Hyena Umbras on. Fiery Temper in Jim's hand, but without the second red source. So Jim's very, very greedy. I want to emphasize this fact. He won a game when he had double blue, double red, and 3 swamps in hand.
Wow.
He was a very greedy keep and kept that. So
and
no blue source for the Frantic Search.
Yeah, definitely seeing that here.
Look at that double Hyena Umbra.
Hyena Umbra. Wow, okay.
6 damage, turn 3.
Just got to top deck that. Oh, no, that's not a Chainer's Edict.
And that's too late for the Fiery Temper as well. He does have the worm, though.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. You need a blue source, though, if you can get the Frantic Search going.
Well,
wow. All right. Yikes.
Jim, I have a question for you. Well, I believe Danny has a question for you.
Yeah, Danny's definitely asking the question here. Like,
Fiery Temper you.
Fiery Temper you. At least get some damage in.
Yeah. Don't let Danny get the perfect victory. Chainer's Edict?
No, that's the second Fiery Temper.
That's the second Fiery Temper. Does he have an answer to this, or does
at least a chump blocker or something?
He needs.
He's got a Mad Prophet.
He's got the Mad Prophet, so he's got the chump blocker.
Does Danny have a way to give trample? Oh, God's Willing can give protection from red.
No, goes to attack, blocks. In response, he will discard and draw a card. Yeah.
Oh,
Understandable.
okay. There's a blue source.
Okay.
All right. We can find a Chainer's Edict here, maybe. Oh, was that the
Ooh.
edict? That was
That's
the
the
edict.
edict. He's got the Chainer's edict.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh.
All right, we've got a match. Look at me. You've thrown it in. But I mean, like, look, I've got it.
Yeah.
Might
Yeah.
as well
I
go
always
ahead.
had it. Always knew it was coming.
Never didn't have it. And Totem Armor, unfortunately,
Just can't protect from the sacrifice.
no. Jimmy's on 4 life though. This is far from and the flying. This is far from over.
Wasting that fiery temper might cost him here.
Yep.
I guess.
He has the second one in hand.
He has the second one in hand. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But now he has to. Oh, he's discarding the reckless worm.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Madness cost on that. He loves that. That's his favorite thing. Frantic search into a reckless worm.
It's a good line. It's a good line.
Look, it's a great line. He has the Gangler as well. I have not seen the Goma Gangler just yet.
All right. And he's got a removal spell for the. It's a heroic flyer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, so this is the problem because if the Totem Armor, if there's an enchantment on it, it will get the +1/+1 counter.
Yeah. So he just has to respond straight away.
So yeah, I think that's very correct. Slam it off now. So
Yeah.
get off my field.
Don't want your opponent drawing God's Willing.
No, not at all. And then removes all his graveyard to play a 5/5 Gurmag Angler, a Legacy Highlander and Vintage All Star. Keeps the land.
Oh.
I guess he had no flashback in graveyard, so it really didn't matter so much.
Yeah.
He had the Chainer's Edict that he removed.
Oh.
Actually, why would he want to keep the land? Maybe he has something in hand that can return that land. I can't quite tell, but we'll see.
So weird flex, but okay.
Yeah. So Jim's still not feeling that bad. Danny's on 11. That health seemed to diminish very, very quickly. Danny is getting to search their library for an enchantment, I think.
It's an aura, I think.
An aura?
Aura,
Specifically?
yeah. Specifically an aura. So I don't know which
I don't think they're sad about that.
aura. Yeah, it's generally pretty good in a Bogles type deck. I don't know which aura. We've already seen both the Hyena Umbras
And the Mammoth.
and the Mammoth. Conviction makes it a good chump block. Oh, yeah, that's the one that she's going to get. So it can block the Reckless Worm, but it can't block the Gomag Angler.
Yeah.
And
Which still puts Danny at a 3-turn clock, which is much better than a 2-turn clock.
is that what's the card? Not the little madness one. The other one in his Jimbo's hand. Has he got Last Grasp? Is it the one on a black for neg 3?
Yeah, -3/-3. He's
So
that.
even this block isn't safe because the trample's going to go through and the creature's going to die.
Yep.
Yep.
There
and
it
just
is.
seeing it here.
-3/-3. Have we got
Oh, it returns a
return
conviction
to
hand.
return his hand?
Oh, but that's more damage then if that happens.
It is. They take
Go
3
to-
more damage.
Go down to 2.
Yeah, so we can see Danny now thinking long and hard. Jim's like, are you sure about that?
Okay, so she does have the Swift Reckoning, so that can kill the Gomag Angler.
Yeah. Lets it die with the conviction. Says, I don't want to take 3 and be on 1. Hopes for a creature to top deck. Nope, sorry, we had the life totals wrong. Goes to 6. Swift Reckoning.
Swift Reckoning didn't have Spell Mastery, of course. That's why she couldn't cast it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so she gives herself a turn. Fingers crossed she can draw something to get out of it. Jimbo doesn't look like he's got anything that can end the game here, but
Not
just
yet.
build a bit of a board presence.
He's already used his 2 fiery tempers now, so he's got the Vampire Masquerades. Whatever the Innistrad card is, it's a threat. That's the important part. Enchants the enchants the worm to draw a card. Yeah.
Yep,
just
trying to
looking
find an
deeper.
out.
Needs to find an out of some description. Finds the land.
Got a land.
Says pass. Battlefield can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents can.
Oh, Jim can't target with abilities. Okay, it works similar to Vines of Vastwood.
Yeah. So there it is. The answer as well. Laughs, but good game.
Yeah.
Gives it double. Danny gives it double strike. Gives the worm double strike.
Ending the game in style.
Yeah.
Well played by both sides. Just couldn't get there in the end, unfortunately for Danny. And Jimbo, well done to make it through and push through the sometimes terrifying creatures that were being thrown at him.
Yeah, that was a big. The DIY Baneslayers definitely lived up to the name. That was a big white-black spirit that just romped his face. So, very, very good game 3. Very well played by both players there, Danny and Jim. Jim, RecklessWorm.Tribal, has done the job. And that is our 3 rounds for the day. So thank you very much for a wonderful time. Congratulations to Riley for winning our Highlander Championship that was going on today with Blue Moon. Everyone here that was seeing that. Absolutely brilliant games. Yeah, thanks so much for tuning in.
Thanks for having me here. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolute pleasure commentating with you, Riley. I'm sure we'll have you back on soon enough.
Sounds good.
And that's it for the day. So, absolute pleasure. We're Max, Riley, General Games. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
See ya.